The big room of the Galactic Council was bright with many lights. Hundreds of aliens from across the galaxy sat in curved rows, their bodies of all shapes and sizes. Some had scales, others had tentacles, and a few even glowed. In the middle of the room was a round table where the most important leaders sat. Ambassador Trelk of the Varaxian Empire stood at the speaking platform. He was tall and bug-like, with 6 eyes that blinked one after another and large pincer-like jaws that clicked when he talked. His skin was hard and blue-black, catching the light as he moved. His voice came through the translator system, sounding smooth despite his alien mouth. "Honored members of the Council," Trelk said, raising his forearms for attention. "Today I bring serious concerns about our human colleagues." Behind him, a large screen showed videos of human ships in space. The ships were moving away from battles near border areas. The videos made it look like the humans were running away scared. "As you can all see," Trelk continued, his voice full of mock concern, "humans fear real conflict. Yes, they have good ships and weapons, but they lack the will to stand and fight. The Earth Confederation always pulls back when challenged." He clicked his pincers together, a Varaxian gesture of dismissal. "This proves what many of us have thought for years. Humans are too weak to deserve their seat on this council." In the Earth section, President Junho Kim sat very still. He was 63 years old, with short gray hair and deep lines around his eyes from years of hard decisions. He wore a simple dark blue uniform with only one pin, the Earth Confederation symbol, a silver planet with 3 stars above it. Next to him, Soo-Jin Park, Earth's top diplomat, slid a datapad toward him. On the screen, information from Earth. Intelligence was updating quickly. The numbers showed that Varaxian ships had been moving toward human space for the past 3 weeks. On Junho's other side, General Han Tae-woo leaned close to whisper something. The general was a big man with a scar across his chin from the Proxima War. But President Junho raised his hand slightly, a small gesture asking for quiet. Around the council chamber, representatives from 200 worlds watched with interest. Some looked concerned, others curious. A few seemed pleased by the attack on Earth's reputation. The council moderator, a being made of living crystal from the Rigel system, made a soft, chiming sound. Light moved through its transparent body as it spoke. "The council has heard the concerns of the Varaxian Empire," the moderator said. "Does Earth wish to respond to these claims?" Before Junho could answer, Ambassador Trelk spoke again. "What could they possibly say? We have all seen how they act. They run from fights. They seek peace talks when they should be showing strength. These are not the actions of a major power." In the press section behind the Earth delegation, reporters from many worlds watched closely. Ki Byom Lee, Earth's most famous war journalist, noticed something in his president's face that worried him. Ki Byom had covered 12 major conflicts and knew the signs of coming trouble. The small muscle twitching in Junho's jaw meant the president was not just angry, he was furious. "This will not end well," Ki Byom whispered to the alien reporter next to him. At the Earth table, Soo-Jin Park passed another note to the president. "Sir, we should be careful. The Varaxians want to provoke us." Junho nodded once but kept his eyes on Trelk. The Varaxian was now showing more video clips, all carefully chosen to make humans look weak. "Look at this battle near Europa," Trelk was saying, pointing to footage of human ships retreating from a Varaxian patrol. The humans had more ships but still left the area. Is this the behavior of a strong race? I think not. What Trelk didn't mention was that the battle had happened near a human civilian station with 10,000 people on it. President Junho finally stood up slowly. The room grew quiet as he walked to the central speaking area. He was not a tall man, but he moved with the calm confidence of someone who had faced worse threats than this. "The council recognizes President Junho Kim of the Earth Confederation," the moderator announced. Junho looked around the room slowly, making eye contact with several council members before speaking. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, but clear. "Distinguished members of the council," he began, "I find Ambassador Trelk's view of humanity interesting." He paused, letting the word hang in the air. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. In diplomatic language, interesting was often the polite way of saying completely wrong. The ambassador has shown you selected videos of human ships withdrawing from conflict. What he fails to mention is the context of each situation. Jun-ho tapped a control on the podium. The large screen now split to show the full footage of the same battles Trelk had shown. The complete videos told a very different story. In this case near Europa, Jun-ho said, pointing to the screen. Our ships pulled back because the Varaxian patrol had deliberately positioned themselves so that any weapon fire would hit this civilian station. The screen showed the civilian station that had been just out of frame in Trelk's version. And in this border incident, Jun-ho continued, showing another complete video. Our ships withdrew after the Cygnus ambassador requested time for emergency talks. Talks that prevented a larger war. Ambassador Trelk's pincers clicked rapidly, a sign of Varaxian agitation. The ambassador speaks of fear, Jun-ho said, his voice growing stronger. So let me be very clear about what humanity does and does not fear. The room grew completely silent. Even the beings who usually whispered among themselves were paying close attention now. But before I address his specific claims, Jun-ho continued, I believe a brief history lesson is in order. From the Earth section, General Tae-woo smiled slightly. He had seen this before, the president's calm before the storm. Many of you come from species that were already traveling between stars when my ancestors were still using horses for transportation, Jun-ho said. Humanity is young compared to most council races. We have been in space for less than 500 years. He tapped the controls again, and the screen showed Earth's early space achievements, primitive rockets, basic space stations, then finally their first faster-than-light ships. We were not born into the stars as many of you were, he continued. We fought our way out of our gravity well through hard work and sacrifice. The images changed to show the first contact war, when the Krell ships had arrived without warning and attacked Earth's moon bases. The footage showed the primitive, human fleet facing ships far more advanced than their own. We had barely left our own solar system when we learned what war among the stars truly meant. The video showed human ships taking heavy damage but still fighting. Though many were destroyed, they managed to protect Earth itself. We were outmatched. In every way, Jun-ho said quietly. Except one, our determination to survive. Many council members looked uncomfortable now. The Krell War was not a proud moment for the Galactic community, who had not intervened to help the new human civilization. President Jun-ho's eyes found Ambassador Trelk again. His voice remained calm, but there was steel in it now. So when you speak of fear, Ambassador, you should choose your words more carefully. A species that fears war does not survive first contact with a hostile force. A species that fears conflict does not, within a single generation, go from being nearly destroyed to taking a seat on this council. He looked around the chamber one more time. And now, Ambassador Trelk, I will address your accusations directly. And I promise you, Jun-ho's eyes narrowed slightly, you will not enjoy my response. Ki Byum-lee started typing quickly on his datapad. In his 30 years covering wars and politics, he had never seen President Jun-ho this angry. Something big was about to happen. President Jun-ho stood firmly at the center of the Galactic Council chamber. All eyes were on him. The air felt heavy with tension. Before I respond directly to Ambassador Trelk's claims, Jun-ho said, I think we need to review some history. He touched a control on the podium. The large screen behind him changed to show Earth, a blue-green planet wrapped in white clouds. 60 years ago, humanity had just begun to explore beyond our own solar system, he said. We had small colonies on Mars and Europa. We had sent ships to the nearest stars. We were excited about joining the wider galaxy. The images on the screen changed to show human cities on Mars with dome-shaped buildings. Then the Krell came, Jun-ho said simply. The screen showed large black ships appearing near Earth's moon. Sleek and deadly, they moved with a grace human ships could not match. The Krell did not introduce themselves. They did not try to talk. They did not warn us. They simply attacked. The video showed the Krell ships firing on the moon base, bright flashes of light, then darkness as the base lost power. Thousands of people had died in that first attack. We had no warning, Junho continued. No chance to surrender. No chance to explain that we meant no harm. In the council chamber, the Krell representative looked down at the table. The Krell were now allies of Earth, but the memory of that first war still brought shame. Our ships were slower. Our weapons were weaker. Our shields failed quickly under Krell fire. Junho's voice remained steady as the screen showed human ships trying to fight back. By any logical measure, we should have been destroyed or enslaved, like many other young species before us. He paused, looking around the room. But we were not. The screen now showed something different. Human ships, clearly outmatched, were using unusual tactics. They moved in strange patterns, sometimes 3 or 4 working together to attack a single Krell ship. When we couldn't match their technology, we changed how we fought, Junho explained. When we couldn't match their firepower, we used our numbers and our will to survive. The video continued, showing human ships drawing Krell forces into asteroid fields where the larger alien ships had trouble moving. We lost the first battle, Junho acknowledged, and the second, and many more after that. The images showed more battles, more human ships destroyed, but with each fight the human tactics were improving. They were learning. The Krell thought they would win easily, Junho said. But they made a mistake. They thought that because we sometimes retreated, we were afraid. Next to Junho, Ambassador Trelk shifted uncomfortably. The parallel was obvious. What the Krell didn't understand, what Ambassador Trelk doesn't understand, is that humans don't fear losing a battle. We fear losing everything. There's a big difference. The screen now showed a turning point in the war, the Battle of Mars orbit. A small fleet of human ships had set a trap for the Krell. Using the planet's gravity and a series of carefully planned moves, they had managed to destroy 3 Krell cruisers without losing a single ship. We learned from every loss, Junho said. We adapted. When direct attack failed, we tried something else. When defending didn't work, we found new places to fight. He looked directly at Ambassador Trelk. This is not fear, Ambassador, this is intelligence. Several council members nodded in agreement. Even some who usually sided with the Varaxians seemed to be considering Junho's words. After 2 years of fighting, Junho continued, the Krell fleet pulled back, not because they had been defeated completely, but because the cost of victory had become too high. The screen showed the Krell withdrawal, their remaining ships leaving the solar system. We had lost millions of people. Half our space fleet was destroyed. Mars would take decades to rebuild. Junho's voice grew quieter, making everyone lean forward to hear him. But we had survived. And we had learned an important lesson that has guided human space policy ever since. The galaxy is dangerous. If we wish to survive, we must be stronger, smarter, and more determined than those who would destroy us. The images on the screen changed again, showing the rapid rebuilding of Earth's fleets. The new ships were different, clearly influenced by Krell designs but with human improvements. In the 50 years since the Krell War, humanity has focused on 2 things: defense and diplomacy. Junho looked around the room. We build strong shields before sharp swords. We try to make friends before we make enemies. General Taewoo nodded slightly from his seat at the Earth table. This was the core of Earth's military doctrine. Be so strong that others choose not to fight you. 10 years after the Krell left our system, we made peace with them, Junho said. Today they are valued allies and council members. The Krell representative inclined its head in acknowledgement. 5 years after that, we helped stop the Rigelian plague that threatened a dozen worlds, including Varaxia. Ambassador Trelk's 6 eyes blinked rapidly. He clearly had not expected this reminder of how Earth had once saved his homeworld. We have joined trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and scientific missions throughout the galaxy, Junho continued. We have shared our art, our music, our ideas freely with all who wish to know us better. The screen showed images of humans working alongside aliens on many different worlds, building together, learning together. And yes, when threatened, we sometimes choose to withdraw rather than escalate a conflict, Junho admitted. Not because we fear fighting, but because we understand its cost better than most. He tapped the control again, and the screen changed. To show something new, reports of conflicts throughout the galaxy where Earth forces had been involved. In the past 30 years, human ships have participated in 43 armed conflicts, Junho said. These reports show something interesting. The data on screen highlighted specific numbers. In conflicts where human forces were in command, civilian casualties were 60% lower than the galactic average for similar battles, Junho explained. Collateral damage to infrastructure was 45% lower. And he paused. For effect, the conflicts were resolved more quickly. He turned to face Ambassador Trelk directly. We don't avoid fights because we're afraid, Ambassador. We avoid unnecessary destruction because we value life. All life, not just human life. The council chamber was completely silent now. Even those who had seemed bored at the start were paying close attention. So, when you show edited videos of our ships pulling back from your border patrols, Junho continued, you fail to mention that those patrols were deliberately too close to civilian stations. You don't explain that engaging them would have endangered thousands of innocent lives. Ambassador Trelk started to speak, but Junho raised his hand. I'm not finished, Ambassador. Something in his tone made Trelk stop and step back. You've questioned humanity's courage, Junho said, his voice now carrying a dangerous edge. So let me show you something that no non-human has ever seen before. He pressed another control, and the screen changed again. This time, it showed something that made several council members gasp. This, said President Junho, is what Earth looks like when we stop holding back. The screen behind President Junho now showed a map of the galaxy. Small blue dots marked human colonies and outposts. Yellow lines showed trade routes. Red dots showed Earth military bases. This is what the galaxy currently sees of Earth's military presence, Junho said. We have bases to protect our colonies. We have ships to guard our trade routes. Everything is open. Everything is known. He pressed another button on the control panel. The map changed. Now there were many more red dots. They appeared in places where no one had thought humans were present. This is the reality, Junho said quietly. The council chamber erupted in surprised murmurs. Several representatives stood up to see better. The Varaxian delegation was suddenly very still. For 50 years, since the end of the Krell War, humanity has been preparing, Junho explained. Not for conquest, not for attack, but for survival. The map zoomed in to show the area near Varaxian space. Red dots appeared in systems that were supposed to be empty. These are not regular military bases, Junho continued. These are what we call silent stations. They have no active signals. They use minimal power, they wait and watch. Ambassador Trelk finally found his voice. This is impossible. Our sensors would have detected these installations. Junho almost smiled. Would they? The same sensors that failed to find our spy. Ships in your own home system 3 years ago during the Meridian Crisis? Trelk's 6 eyes blinked rapidly in shock. That information was supposed to be secret. Or perhaps the same sensors that missed our special forces team that extracted the human hostages from the Varaxian mining station last year, Junho added. General Tae Wu was now openly grinning from his seat. These operations had been among his finest achievements, but they had never been made public. Impossible, Trelk said again, but with less certainty. Let me be very clear, Junho said, addressing the entire council now. Earth does not fear war. We respect it. We understand its cost, and we prepare for it like no other species in this galaxy. He walked away from the podium, moving around the circular chamber to make his point stronger. When the Krell attacked us, we were young and unprepared. We almost died as a species. We swore that would never happen again. The screen changed to show human warships. They looked normal at first, similar to the designs that everyone in the galaxy knew. Then the image changed to show hidden features, weapon ports that were not visible until they opened. engine systems that had much more power than officially reported. Every ship in Earth's fleet is more powerful than its specifications claim, Junho explained. Every base has hidden defenses, every colony has escape plans and hidden bunkers. He stopped walking and faced Ambassador Trelk directly. We don't fear war, Ambassador. We fear being unprepared for it. The Varaxian representative seemed unable to speak now. His mandibles clicked nervously, a sign of stress in his species. You showed videos of our ships pulling back from fights, Junho continued. Let me show you some that your intelligence services missed. The screen changed again, now showing footage of a small human ship facing 3 Varaxian cruisers near a disputed border. The human ship was sending emergency signals, appearing damaged and weak. This happened 2 years ago, Junho said. Your ships thought they had found an easy target. In the video, the Varaxian ships moved closer, surrounding the seemingly helpless human vessel. Then suddenly the human ship's appearance changed. Hidden weapon ports opened. Shields that had seemed weak flared to full power. In a series of precise strikes, the single human ship disabled all 3 Varaxian cruisers without destroying any of them. We let your crews live, Junho noted. We even helped them make repairs before sending them home, but we made sure they wouldn't remember the true capabilities of our ship. As far as your military knows, that encounter never happened. The Signan representative, a tall being with feathered skin, spoke up. President Junho, are you saying that Earth has been hiding its true strength all this time? Yes, Junho said simply. It seemed the wisest course. When you appear strong, others challenge you to prove it. When you appear reasonable and cautious, they underestimate you. He returned to the podium, moving with calm purpose. Ambassador Trelk accuses humans of fearing war, Junho said. The truth is, we fear becoming what we fight against. We fear losing what makes us human in the first place. The screen changed again, showing a series of planets and moons that had been devastated in various conflicts. Some were burned wastelands, others were covered in toxic chemicals. A few were completely shattered, reduced to fields of asteroids. These worlds were destroyed in wars that Earth had no part in, Junho said. Billions of lives lost. Entire species wiped out. Civilizations that took thousands of years to build, gone in days. He looked around the chamber, making eye contact with many representatives. Is this the kind of strength you admire, Ambassador? The power to destroy? Because Earth has always had that power. We simply choose not to use it. The screen showed one more thing. A small device that looked simple, but had a complex interior revealed in a cutaway view. This is a Nova bomb, Junho explained. Earth developed it 30 years ago. 5 of them could render a planet like Varaxia completely uninhabitable. 10 could crack it to its core. Even General Taewu looked surprised at this revelation. The Nova bomb had been Earth's most closely guarded secret. We built 300 of them, Junho continued. Then we locked them away, because we understood something important. True strength isn't about how much you can destroy. It's about what you choose to protect. Sujin Park, at the Earth table, was rapidly typing notes. This was not the speech they had prepared. The president was revealing military secrets that had been kept hidden for decades. So when you see human ships withdrawing from a fight, Junho said, addressing the council again, don't assume it's because we fear the conflict. Assume it's because we've found a better way to resolve it. Assume we're saving our strength for enemies that truly threaten what we value. He turned back to Ambassador Trelk, who remained frozen in place. And if you ever mistake our restraint for weakness again, Junho said, his voice dangerously quiet, remember this day. Remember that humans don't fear war. He paused, letting his words sink in. We've simply seen enough of it to know it should be the last option, not the first. The council chamber was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The weight of Junho's words and the revelations about Earth's true power had shocked everyone present. Finally, the council moderator broke the silence with a soft, chiming sound. These revelations are significant, the crystal being said. The Council will need time to consider their implications. President Junho nodded. Of course. But there is one more thing I must make clear before I conclude. He pressed a final control on the podium. The screen showed a new map of the galaxy, with lines extending from Earth to many distant points. As of this moment, I have activated Protocol Lighthouse, Junho announced. All Earth's hidden forces are now on alert. Not because we seek conflict, but because it's time the galaxy saw us clearly. Kibyom Lee, still watching from the press section, quickly sent a message to his news agency. Breaking. Earth reveals hidden military strength, activates Protocol Lighthouse in response to Varaxian accusations. Little did he know that across the galaxy, the real meaning of Lighthouse was already becoming clear. Across the galaxy, things began to happen all at once. In empty areas of space, hidden stations suddenly powered up. Their lights came on, their shields activated, their weapon systems ran quick checks. Ships that had been drifting with minimal power now showed their true strength. On the screens in the council chamber, small dots of light appeared everywhere, showing Earth's real presence in the galaxy. It was far greater than anyone had imagined. Protocol Lighthouse is not an attack plan, President Junho explained calmly. It's simply a revealing of what was already there. Ambassador Trelk had finally regained some of his composure. His voice crackled through the translator. This is an act of aggression. You're threatening the Varaxian Empire. Junho shook his head. No, Ambassador. This is an act of honesty. For the first time, the galaxy is seeing Earth's true face. He looked around the chamber at the surprised faces of the council members. We have hidden stations near every major power in the galaxy, Junho continued. Not to threaten, not to spy, but to be ready if another Krell war happens. The old Krell representative made a low humming sound, a sign of respect in their culture. Every human colony, no matter how small, has defenses that don't appear on any official records. Junho said, every trade route we use is watched by ships that no sensors can detect unless they choose to be seen. He walked back to the Earth delegation table and picked up a small device from in front of General Taewoo. It was a simple metal cylinder, with a single button. This is not about intimidation, Junho said, holding up the device. This is about survival. This is about making sure that no one ever again makes the mistake of thinking humans are easy targets. And what does that device do? Asked the Rigelian moderator, its crystal body flashing with nervous light. It sends one simple command to all Earth forces, Junho replied. Stand down or stand ready. He looked directly at Ambassador Trelk. Right now they're simply visible. They're not in attack position. They're not targeting anyone. They're just no longer hiding. Sujin Park stood up from the Earth table and approached the president. She whispered urgently in his ear. Sir, this goes against 50 years of Earth defense policy. The council might see this as a threat. Junho nodded slightly but didn't change his course. Sometimes the truth is necessary, he whispered back. Then he addressed the council again. I want to be very clear about something, he said. Earth does not want war with the Varaxian Empire or anyone else. We have always preferred diplomacy, trade, and cultural exchange. The screen behind him now showed images of human and alien children playing together, scientists of different species working side by side, and spectacular buildings that combined architectural styles from many worlds. This is what we value, Junho said. This is what we wish to protect. This is what we would fight for if necessary. He set the device down on the podium. But make no mistake, if pushed, we will fight. Not because we enjoy it, not because we seek glory in battle, but because we have learned that in this galaxy, only the strong survive long enough to build peace. From the Varaxian section, Ambassador. Trelk's aide hurried forward with a data pad. Trelk read it quickly, his 6 eyes scanning back and forth. What he saw clearly alarmed him. My government has just informed me, Trelk said, his voice now lacking its earlier confidence, that we have detected 23 previously unknown Earth military installations in systems bordering Varaxian space. 25, actually, General Taewoo called out from the Earth table. Your sensors still missed 2 of them. This brought nervous laughter from some council members. The tension in the room began to ease slightly. Furthermore, Trelk continued, ignoring the general, our long-range scans show Earth fleet movements. That suggest nothing threatening, Junho interrupted. Our ships are simply taking up their true positions now that there's no need to hide them. He turned away from Trelk and addressed the whole council again. For 50 years, Earth has played a role. The careful diplomatic power that avoids conflict when possible. That part was real. We do prefer peace. We do believe in solving problems through talks rather than weapons. He took a deep breath before continuing. But we also remember the Krell War. We remember what it means to be unprepared. We remember what it cost to learn about war the hard way. The Signan representative spoke up. President Junho, what exactly are you asking of this council? I'm not asking anything, Junho replied. I'm simply setting the record straight. Ambassador Trelk claimed that humans fear war. I'm showing you that we don't. We respect it. We prepare for it, but we don't fear it. He walked closer to the Varaxian section. What I am suggesting to the Varaxian Empire, however, is simple. Stop testing our borders. Stop trying to provoke conflicts with our colonies. Stop assuming that our preference for peace means we are weak. Trelk seemed about to object, but a signal from someone in his delegation made him stay quiet. I don't wish to embarrass you further, Ambassador, Junho said more quietly, but we have records of 17 deliberate Varaxian provocations in the past year alone. 17 times when your ships or agents tried to create incidents that would force us to either fight or look weak by backing down. He returned to the podium. Those days are over. From now on, Earth will no longer pretend to be less than we are. Our ships will no longer hide their true capabilities. Our stations will no longer mask their power signatures. The council chamber erupted in conversation as representatives discussed what this meant for their own worlds. Above the noise, Junho continued. This doesn't change our commitment to peace. It doesn't change our desire for friendship with all peaceful worlds. It simply means we're done playing a role that some have misinterpreted as weakness. The moderator chimed loudly for order. When the room quieted, they spoke. President Junho, the council appreciates your candor, but many will see this revelation as concerning. Some might even see it as threatening. I understand, Junho nodded. Change is often uncomfortable. But I assure you, Earth's goals remain the same. Peaceful cooperation, mutual growth, and stability in the galaxy. He pressed a button on the device he had placed on the podium. The screens showed Earth's ships and stations powering down slightly, not hiding again, but clearly taking a less alert stance. As a show of good faith, I have ordered all Earth forces to stand down from lighthouse status. They will remain visible, but will return to standard operations. He turned to face Ambassador Trelk one last time. The next move is yours, Ambassador. Earth extends the same hand of friendship we always have. But now you know what lies behind that hand if friendship is rejected. The Varaxian representative seemed to shrink slightly under Junho's gaze. After a moment, he spoke. The Varaxian Empire has always valued its relationship with Earth. Perhaps there have been misunderstandings. My government would welcome further discussions to clear these up. It was as close to an apology as a Varaxian could give. Junho nodded once. We would welcome that too. The moderator's crystal body glowed with relief. Then perhaps we can return to the regular council agenda. I believe we were scheduled to discuss the new trade routes through the Orion sector. As the council shifted to other business, Kibyom Lee watched President Junho return to his seat. The president looked tired but satisfied. After 50 years of hiding Earth's true strength, the mask had finally been removed. In the press area, reporters from 100 worlds were frantically sending updates. The news was already spreading across the galaxy. Humans didn't fear war. They had simply been patient enough to hope they wouldn't need it. By tomorrow, every world would know the truth, and the galaxy would never be the same again.